word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society. And we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. We decided long ago that the dangers of excessive and unwarranted concealment of pertinent facts far outweighed the dangers which are cited to justify it. Even today, there is little value in opposing the threat of a closed society by imitating its arbitrary restrictions. Even today, there is little value in ensuring the survival of our nation if our traditions do not survive with it. And there is very grave danger that an announced need for increased security will be seized upon by those anxious to expand its meaning to the very limits of official censorship and concealment. That I do not intend to permit to the extent that it's in my control.
And that, my friends, is the opening to the Wednesday night show. I'm so sorry that I'm here late. I had an incredibly long day at work I was not expecting. And so the podcast is late tonight, and I apologize for that. It happens occasionally. I really probably needed to start going ahead and doing it the day before. So, but even if I'd done it the day before, there was this horrible accident on I-24 yesterday, and I got stuck in it on my way back for a little over an hour. So I probably wouldn't have even got that, done last night because I was so exhausted. But anyway, I wanted to lead off with that because of the release of the Kennedy files, unredacted, assuming you can even trust the what you're getting that seems to be unredacted. I don't know. I do find it interesting. My wife and I have two takes on this, and we were discussing it, I think, earlier today, where, we say that this is one of the speeches where he declared his intentions to dismantle the deep state and put us back on gold or oil and get rid of fiat currency type things and all these different things that Kennedy was wanting to do. And he'd already kind of, I don't know if he'd already done it by then. But anyway, he really irritated the CIA with the whole Northwoods fiasco where he told them essentially, no, I don't want you, making plans to possibly blow up Americans in a jet just to get us into a war with Cuba. Because, believe it or not, your government is totally willing to bump you off to keep things going that they want. It's why I say that I don't care what party it is. They don't care about you. They don't. So, and I know the thing is, well, what do we do? If it were up to me, we would do the clause in the Constitution where we scrap it and start over and make sure that when we do start over, we start over with honest American citizens that don't belong to some secret Mason organization or any other crap like that. But by the way, did you know that early on in the start of this country, there was an anti-Mason party? Go look it up. It's crazy. But it seems to me, from the very earliest foundations of this nation, your presidents have been selected for you. I know you think you're voting. I'm pretty sure they're all selected. So, anyway, I just thought that would be an interesting way to start out. Viewer, I always want to say viewer, listener emails. I guess you could view it. At some point, I'm going to get a nice camera, and you can watch me wearing my headphones so I don't get an echo through my microphone. And you can look at the rest of my music studio, my small little home music studio where I record music and do all kinds of fun stuff. Anyway, so let's get right to it because I don't have a whole lot of time because I got back so late and I need to get this uploaded. I wanted to thank Patrick Barron, who recently commented saying, the belief in man over the word of God is foolishness. Patrick, I could not agree more. And I commented that. I agree. I agree completely. That was a comment on the Satan's Little Season Debunked. Um, and he's right. And also, I think this is the fellow from Australia, or maybe it was New Zealand. You'll have to remind me if you're listening out there. Incognito 369. Forgive me, but I can't remember if it was you that told me you were from New Zealand or out in that region. But he had commented, and I appreciate his comments. He's very passionate and it interacts a lot with our material, and I really look forward to things like that. I think it's great. I like checking my messages and so on and so forth, just to see what kind of interactions we're getting, and the emails are always entertaining. I have one email I want to deal with this evening, and I'll get to that last, but I know he does not prefer the style of music that I sometimes play. Not everything that we do is heavy thrash metal, though, and I wouldn't even consider what we do thrash metal as a genre. But it's, some of the heavier stuff we play is not going to be for everybody, but not everything we play is super heavy. Some of it's more rock oriented, and then the last song on the album is almost just a solo by our female singer, with me playing acoustic and having some ethereal keyboard sounds, well, really a synth in the background. I use a keyboard hooked up to my PC and different synths apps that I have on my computer to record different background sounds and so on, including violin sounds, different background noises, you name it. But I do have a synth that I like to use, or a keyboard that I like to use for, it's a Yamaha. I can't remember the make or model number, but it's a full-size one, and because it sounds just like a real piano, or basically anything I want it to sound like, because I can download different groupings of different sounds that other people have made and so on. And so it's really just a collection of everything that I think sounds like a real instrument. And not all of it's perfect, but I like the way some of it sounds a little bit artificial, and then I can put my more favorite reverbs and delays into my DAW to make it sound more lifelike or more realistic. But anyway, all that aside, I appreciate the comments about the music, and I also noted where somebody had said something about the stars falling to the earth, and there's no need to try and make natural sense of the judgments in Revelation any more than there would be for the plagues of Egypt long ago. Consider the possibility that stars aren't what we're told. Well, I agree with that. I don't think stars are what we're told. I think most of the things that you're going to hear in an atmosphere, or a media atmosphere, that is not controlled by God. It is, I say that with the idea that I get that God is sovereign. But he's also told us that the God of this world right now is Lucifer, Shamiel, Hillel, whatever you want to call him. He runs the airwaves here. You don't get to be super successful unless you make the deals to get to the next level, in most cases. Maybe not every case, because God has his people too. But for the most part, the vast majority of things that you're seeing in the media are smoke and mirrors. And so, like I said in my comment, might surprise you to find that I don't think stars are what they say they are either. But I do think that in dealing with the book of Revelation and some other things, I think some things were, quite frankly, meant to be taken quite literally, and some things weren't. And it's very clear in John's writing what he intends to be taken literally and what he doesn't intend to be taken literally. He literally says it right there. And in fact, There are points throughout it where he's describing something, and then even an angel comes along and says, "Oh, well, here's what this symbolic thing is." So anyway, and I also liked Dominic Lawless 606 commented saying, "We have a saying in Ireland: it's a long road that has no tuning. In other words, all things will come to an end." And then he says again, "Thank you. Keep on the long of the Lord. Can't wait for Monday night." I can't either. I like doing my shows. I think it's great, and really, again, want to thank you for your comments. And then I want to mention that somebody was asking me some of the gear that we use for the band, or what kind of guitars I use, and my musical gear. Well, so in my studio, I have a Positive Grid practice amp and I have a Bogner Ecstasy sitting on the floor over here that I don't really use anymore. I actually prefer this 5153. I don't have the 6L6s in there. I have the other ones, the EL 34, 84. I can't remember which they are, but they're more midsy when it's cranked. And it's just a 50 watt because which is still too loud. I really wish they made a full size head. They make like this small amp head that is like 5 watts and it's adjustable or whatever, but the head is so small and it's just hard to deal with. So I like the 50 watt. The only thing I would change about the 50 watt head is on the back they have a depth thing that if you can adjust for your cabinet. So if your cabinet's a little too thin or bright sounding, you can add a bit of bottom end to it, or woof, if you want to call it that. And it's great. I have mine probably at about 50% because I have an angled slant cab 412, and it can be kind of bright in here. But I don't use that on the album. What I use on the album is a Silverburst Les Paul, and then I also use an Ibanez Woody for the solo work because I love the dark matter pickups on it. It like cuts through everything and is perfectly voiced for what I enjoy playing. So I like using the Woody, and I like, for when I'm playing solo stuff, I like Ibanez guitars. I like the Les Paul too, but either way, it's just good stuff. And then, but I'm not playing and miking my amp in here. What I'm basically doing is I will plug straight from my guitar into a Morley. I'm looking at the floor here. Morley volume / wah pedal, and then I go into a Bad Horsey Morley because it's just different. Anybody who's a guitarist who likes wah pedals will know that there's a pretty big difference between a standard wah pedal and the Bad Horsey one because it just activates as soon as you touch the pedal. I don't have to turn it on. There's certain sounds you can get with that, like a sudden whoosh with it that you can just step back and turn right off. So it's really fun to have. And then I go straight out of that and right into a Black Lion audio device, mostly because a lot of times I'm playing with headphones, and the Black Lion audio, the headphone out jack on it, because of the type of headphones that I have, it's the only one that I have found that's got a decent price range without breaking the bank, that has a headphone out jack that can push my headphones. And so that's why I prefer it. And then I go from the Black Lion audio, digital audio interface, and I go right into my laptop. And from my laptop, I have a wide curved screen, 2 8-inch studio monitors with horns, sitting up on either side of my monitor. And what I'm really using to record guitar parts, at least, is Neural DSP plugins, because they're freaking amazing. I have the real 5150 here, so I know from playing both of them that when you're playing, for instance, the Nolly X or one of the other models that like the Gojira, the ones that use the 5150 model are pretty accurate. I actually prefer to use the oh gosh, now I'm going to forget his name. The guitarist for Dream Theater, John Petrucci. So I use his archetype, and I go back and forth between his lead amp and the rhythm amp, and it just depends on because I feel like the lead amp does great for open chords and things of that nature, and then the other one gets a really tight sound. Like anyway, and then there was another question about the keyboard solo on the first track of The Grey Wanderer, and it's not a keyboard solo. It is the archetype Rubia has a guitar synthesizer as the one of the main features on the that particular plugin, and so it's just me playing guitar over a guitar synthesizer, and that's it. Everything is just right out of the Rubia X thing. The delay, I think I might have added to my guitar channel where I mixed all the guitars through. I might have put maybe a reverb that's just for that particular channel's, like gluing the guitars together, like they were recorded in a room together, kind of a reverb type thing. Like you can't even tell that it's there, except that it makes the mix, when you're mixing it, it makes the guitars sound like you've done it in a room and not on in a digital world, so to speak. But anyway, so that is that in regards to answering the music question. And now, sorry to keep this one short, but I'm going to go disappear to my bed and go crash because I'm exhausted. And I look forward to seeing you all Friday night when we do the top 3 stories of the week. And this should be pretty crazy because I've got some audio and video clips I'm going to try to mix in here this time, because there's really been all kinds of neat, crazy things going on in the world. And so I might start introducing more audio clips on Wednesday nights as well that I come across that I get sent by you all. I just haven't figured out necessarily a way to do that yet. But as soon as I do, I'll start putting them up there, and you guys can check those out. I think you'll find them entertaining and interesting. And as for that, we're about to make it past Hump Day and into the rest of the week. So let's slide on into it, and you all have a great night.